Today I want to talk to you guys about my very first foil shaver, and it happens to be a travel shaver by Remington. If you're wondering what the model number on this is, it is going to be the TF70CDN, at least according to the Amazon listing that I purchased it from. Now, although it does say that it is a travel shaver, I was rather surprised on how small it is, as it is about the size of a deck of cards. Now, once I opened this travel shaver, I realized that it was pretty nice because it does indeed come with a pack of AA batteries, and it is fairly easy to put those in as the bottom of the shaver simply pops off. You can put the batteries right in there and close it right back up nice and tight. Now, on top of being small, it has several really nice features. For one, it has a dual foils, which are made out of surgical steel, which is essentially a high-grade stainless steel, which gives a much better cut and lasts longer than a superior stainless steel might. It also has an integrated heat guard and travel lock, which means that this thing is pretty cool because you don't have to worry about losing the cover for the blades that are being protected, and you also don't need to worry about it turning on in your luggage at any time. Now, when I first got this, I was wondering how the heck does it turn on, because this isn't a button, there's no buttons anywhere else. And as I later found out, this right here is an integrated little brush for cleaning your shaver, which I think is really smart, and honestly, every shaver that has a brush with it should just be integrated, because how many times do you lose those little guys? Anyway, the cool thing about this is to turn it on, you simply just flip around the plastic guard, and once you get down to the bottom of the shaver, you can simply just continue to go until it turns on. Now, to turn it off, it's super simple. You just simply return it the same way that you turned it on, or you can even bring it all the way around to the 360 to return it to its original cover position, and it will be off. My thoughts on the foil travel shaver by Remington is kind of a love-hate. So let's start out with the things that I like. One, I've used this about every other day for the last about 3 weeks, and the batteries seem to be going just as strong as when I first used it. Two, as I mentioned, everything is built right into this thing, so you don't need to worry about losing a cover for your shaver, leaving it someplace. You also don't need to worry about how you're going to clean it out while you're traveling, as you've always got the little brush attached to this shaver. And I think that that is really cool, as well as I really do like the way that they have integrated the travel lock into the on-off switch, as it is just a really well thought out idea. And although it may seem like that it may break easily because it is just a plastic cover, you really only need to worry about dropping it or breaking it when it is in the half position here, where it's not on and it's not covering anything, because that's really its only weak point. And even then, I have to say that it's got a little bit of wiggle room there, so you don't really need to worry about that all that much. I also like how easy it is to clean. You just simply move that cover off of there, the top of it pops off, and you have instant access to the blades as well as the foil. One thing that I learned when using the foil shaver is that foil shavers are definitely meant for very short hair. In other words, no 3-4 day growths, and even some 2-day growths may not be able to be cut with a foil shaver. And honestly, I think that if you are a super facial hair grower that has a 5 o'clock shadow in the morning, can shave, and then has it again by 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you may need to use this a couple of times if you're really keeping down that hair as smooth as you possibly can. Now, for me, I ended up using it every other day in between my normal shaves with the razor when I took a shower. As you can see here, I am shaving with the foil shaver, and I have right about a day and a half's worth of growth, and therefore you will see me go over a few spots multiple times to make sure that I actually get everything. Now, one place that I ended up having quite a bit of issue with this shaver getting everything was particularly right around the jawline as well as the neck. Now, as the instructions recommend, to not push very hard on the shaver, as well as to pull the skin tight when needed, definitely comes in handy, as well as the going around in circles in tough spots to shave, which I have tried that multiple times on the jawline and the neck. And I found that for some reason, it just did not like getting those spots for me. Now, being as how I am a razor shaver most of the time, and I don't really use electrics, especially on my face, I did have the habit of sometimes hitting it at an angle, which meant that I was only getting it with one of the foils instead of both of them. And whenever I realized that it was taking a little bit longer than I thought that it should to shave, most of the time that was a part of the issue. So if you're like me and you're not used to using this type of shaver, one, definitely make sure that you have cut it down as low as you can with any other shaver that you may have, as well as making sure that you keep both of the foils on your skin at the same time at about a 90 degree. I would definitely also recommend to always make sure that you clean it after every shave, as they do tend to fill up rather quickly, even though that you're cutting off just a little bit of hair. Now you might be wondering, Justin, you're bald, did you use it on your head? Well, actually, yes, I did, as that is the original reason why I bought this thing, is because I wanted to see how it would do on the head. And I have to say, I was kind of disappointed, but kind of not, as this is made for a face shaver and not for the noggin, which definitely has a bit different type of hair. I, of course, had the same issue with it being too long and not being able to cut. However, I did find that it was fairly useful if, after I got out of the shower and I was, adding a little moisturizer to my head or just rubbing my head and I found a spot that maybe was a little bit longer that I hadn't quite gotten with the razor, I could take this after it and usually get it at least to suffice until the next time that I shaved my head. I also know, because I did this a couple of times, that this is actually a fairly good thing to follow up with a regular head electric shaver, as there are spots on my head, like a little crease in the back, that does not get very well with the head shaver all the time, and therefore taking this over it after the fact was definitely nice to be able to get that little portion nice and smooth. I think it would also be great is if you really want to get close but you don't want to use a razor on it. I think that this would be perfectly fine to use after your normal electric head shave as well. Now, who do I think this shaver is for? Well, I think that if you are looking for a shaver just to shove in a gym bag, to take in an overnight bag without having to bring all your shaving kit with you, I think this is actually a shaver that will do the job, and it is nice, compact, you can clean it out if needed, you're not going to need to worry about it accidentally turning itself on, because the chances of this thing getting all the way around and then being able to click itself in place as well is going to be fairly low. Also, if you are somebody that may be going someplace that doesn't necessarily have the power to charge a regular battery foil, you may want to consider this as well because of that AA power that this thing has. It's super easy to pick up AA's just about anywhere, so I think that it is a fairly decent option for that as well. I also think that if you're like me and wondering how the foil shavers work and want to try it out before you shell out $40, $50, $60, $70 on a good one, I think this may be a good starter as well, just because it comes in at under $20 at the time of this recording. And as a cheaper shaver, I do think that this is an acceptable shave. Now, if you like this review and you're wondering if I'm going to be reviewing any more electric shavers, well, I do have it planned to do so. So make sure to hit that like, hit that bell, select all so that you don't miss any of my reviews or videos that I upload. If you want to see more videos from me, check out this video up here and this video down here that YouTube thinks that you may enjoy. Until next time, as always, you have a good one.